What's up, guys? Alex and Molly here, and we brought in a special guest. This is Andy, or CubsFan Han, if you've never met him.
How's it going, guys?
Pretty good. So, recently, the final trailer for The Rise of Skywalker came out, and we were discussing it. And by the way, I just met Andy at the Fallen Order event out in Anaheim, and we really hit it off, and you're now one of my favorite Star Wars fans to talk to. We've been talking
you had
nonstop.
me at I like The Last Jedi, and then I looked at you and I was like, "This is my guy."
So yeah, we've been every new news development. We have now been texting each other and talking. So we've been talking about the Mandalorian trailer, for example, and then last week we were talking about the Rise of Skywalker trailer, and Andy had the idea to basically rank all of the trailers, and this is the last Skywalker Saga trailer we're ever going to see. So let's go back and revisit all 9 of them. Some of them, man, it's just weird to see film trailers from the 1970s.
I don't even remember that there were trailers from back then.
I know, right? It was actually the first time I'd ever seen the original trilogy trailers, right? Because for our generation, we're about the same age. We didn't see them in theaters, and so we just watched the finished product. The trailers back then were very different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool watching kind of the evolution of movie marketing over the course of 40 years. But yeah, let's just start talking about the trailer for A New Hope, because that is a weird one. Watching that trailer at the end of it, I'm like, I don't think I want to see that movie.
Yeah. My first thought after we finished watching it on YouTube was everything about this trailer sounds like a horror movie or like a suspense thriller. Like the way the guy is talking and the music, it's just like, is this a sci-fi thriller?
And it's kind of like an era thing, I think. I'm guessing this is what just happened in trailers, but they're spoon-feeding you so much. Like, here's the hero, and here's the supporting cast. And they even go as far as to say, 20th Century Fox presents the most extraordinary motion picture of all time in this trailer. It's just so audacious.
To be fair, they were right.
I mean, yeah. We can agree with that. But to acclaim it in a trailer.
I mean, no one thought that when they were making it. That's kind of what's funny. If you go back and hear about them making Star Wars, it was just such a troubled production and no one knew what they were doing. And they're it didn't seem like people had a whole lot of faith in the film outside of George Lucas. And then for 20th Century Fox to just be like, the greatest movie you'll ever see, and then just cross their fingers.
Yeah, they lucked out.
Yeah, it's so funny. But yeah, it's just trailers were different back then.
Didn't George Lucas's wife help edit A New Hope into a more cohesive story? I wonder if she didn't have anything to do with the trailer and saw it and was like, eh.
Yeah, I doubt that she or George Lucas had anything to do with the trailer.
Probably not, because not many people saw trailers back then.
I would guess not.
Or at least they didn't think much of them. They didn't do reviews on YouTube about
sure.
them.
I did kind of think
only.
about, I thought about breakdowns for some of these, and I was like, this is absurd. What would I even say?
I mean, I'm sure there were articles in newspapers and those fanzines. What are they called?
Yeah, just fanzines.
Fanzines.
But yeah, they really beat you over the head with action, romance, heroes, villains, just
this movie's for everyone.
Yeah. Please come watch our movie.
Yeah.
It's begging you to watch it. One thing I will say that I did appreciate, and this, if we're moving on to episode 5, there's almost no plot given in the trailer.
Right.
And one of my pet peeves with trailers, and this will come to a lot of my critiques I have with the prequel trailers, is when they give away too much about the film. And I will give the original trilogy credit. A lot of these trailers don't really tell you much about the film, but they hit you with a lot of John Williams, and it does give you at least some feel of what Star Wars feels like to us today.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree on the lack of story details. It's just like, here's the good guy, here's the bad guy, here's the princess.
Yeah.
Like, if you're into this kind of stuff.
So
Does
spoon-fed.
Leia get... I know she gets a line in the A New Hope trailer. Does she have lines in the other two from the original trilogy?
I can't recall now.
I don't think she does. I think that's the only trailer
They
that
just
she
pushed
has a
hard
line.
in Empire that there's this love triangle, which now is really
yeah.
funny.
Oh, yeah.
I do, man, just listening to Harrison Ford narrate the Empire trailer, and not only that, but feel so jazzed up about Star Wars. Like, it's just the opposite of what I've come to expect from him.
I had no idea that was him.
I
Like,
didn't know that
his-
either. That just
his
blew my
voice.
mind.
Until, Alex told me, because it sounds like an old-timey radio, like, host. He's like, Star Wars is coming back at you.
Yeah. he's doing his best, like, 1950s excited man impression, and it's just so weird to hear Harrison Ford do that.
It's not him.
Yeah.
I found it interesting that episode 5 had a very similar structure to the A New Hope one. Like, it still had the Star Wars. This time it's the actual logo flying in towards the screen. Found it interesting that it was blue. The Empire was the first movie to do the blue Star Wars logo, not Rise of Skywalker.
Speaking of blue, did you notice in the episode 6 trailer that Luke's lightsaber at the Sarlacc pit was blue in the trailer?
I did. Yep.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
So this is the first time you've watched a lot of these?
Yeah. I've never seen the trailers.
That's funny.
Never.
Yeah,
For the original trilogy.
I'd looked them up a while back, and they might be on the Blu-rays. I can't remember. But yeah, like the Empire trailer is still very much just basic information. Like, and this is, I guess, back in the day when it wasn't a given that every successful movie was going to have a sequel.
Yeah.
And it's just like, hey, Luke and Han and Leia, their story didn't end. We're doing another one. Can you believe it?
Yeah. I did notice that, like, as they progress, A New Hope is very, like, straight to the point. Empire, we're seeing a lot of kind of goofy scenes, like some of the more silly scenes in the movie. We get a little bit of that in the trailer. And then Return of the Jedi, we get a pretty good mix of the first two.
Yeah, Jedi's definitely the most modern, which makes sense. I mean, as we go on, they're just going to get more and more. They're going to keep evolving. But yeah, do you know why his lightsaber was changed from blue to green?
I was going to ask you because I haven't looked that up yet.
Two reasons I've heard of. First is that in the Sarlacc fight, the blue just wasn't really showing up against the sky because they hadn't done a lightsaber outside yet. I've also read that they were discussing, well, how do we... And this is like funny about the fans already at this point. George Lucas was saying, if he just turns on a blue lightsaber again, fans are going to have something to say about it. They're going to be like, I thought he lost that lightsaber. And they were like, well, maybe if we make it a different color, it'll be clear that it's a different lightsaber. And so I think those are the two main reasons.
I think the final thing that I loved about the original trilogy trailers, especially, or in particular in the sixth one, in episode 6, was we got It's a Trap in the trailer.
That is funny. I
appreciate this.
Yeah.
Prequel memes was clear back in the 80s.
Already. I liked that they kind of played up the mystery, and they had that Luke saying, is Darth Vader my father? Like, people getting confirmation, because that was a question up in the air, and he's asking Yoda, and people are like, oh man,
yeah,
like, we're going to know for sure.
There wasn't much suspense factor in these trailers until 6. Then we get that line, is Vader my father? And then I think the very next scene in the trailer is Vader and Luke in the elevator when the doors open up, and Luke's in all black. And if you haven't seen the movie and you're seeing the trailer for the first time, you're like, oh my god, is he going to the dark side? I don't know. He's hanging out with Vader. What's going on?
That's an interesting observation. Kind of not quite as extreme as seeing Rey with a double-bladed red saber,
Yeah.
but still kind of in the same direction of. That makes me wonder: did people think that direction? Interesting.
I bet they did. I mean, back then we'd never seen a double-bladed red lightsaber. Like
We would have been
still...
speculating. Luke's going to the dark side. Put that in the title of a video.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is Luke going bad?
Did we see Ewoks in the trailer?
Yes, I thought about that too. Just like, what would have my reaction been to be like, what are these little teddy bear creatures running around?
Right.
So, of the three, what's everyone's favorite original trilogy trailer?
I like 6, episode 6. It felt to me the first one that really just acknowledged. It kind of leaned into this is what we are. We're Star Wars is a thing, and I actually like it more now that Molly, some things that you pointed out and Alex leaning into the mystery and Luke in the elevator. That kind of made me like it even more. So I'm gonna go with 6.
Yeah, I'm going 6 too, because of my same observation. Just that there's more to it than just talking and showing random characters and this is who this is, and I don't know. It creates a little bit more suspense.
Yeah, I think this is the first time that they were like, oh, we can just assume that people have seen the other 2 movies. Like,
right.
we can lean into the mystery. Like, they know what Star Wars is about at this point, and we can kind of tease them with the story. And that didn't really seem like something that they could do beforehand. I will say that, like, I think Jedi is the strongest trailer, but I think Empire is probably my favorite one just for Han Solo or Harrison's narration.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's move on to the prequels and the episode 1 trailer, which this one I'm like trying to remember the first time I saw it. It had to have been in a theater, I would guess.
Yeah, we were kids. We were pretty young, right?
Yeah, it probably came out in 1998.
Yeah,
I would guess.
somewhere around there.
I don't have any memory of when and where I saw it. I do remember those first shots of like the Gungans coming out of the mist.
Yeah.
I think I was in the theater when I saw it, and I was just like, whoa, cool. Like,
Yeah.
more lightsabers, all right.
Lightsabers. I really like this trailer. The main thing, and I already kind of teased this earlier, I don't love how much plot they give to it, but I love how it starts with all of these little shots. You get this little touch of Vader breathing, and then you get blasted with Luke's theme. It was a very chill-inducing, holy crap, Star Wars is back moment.
Yeah,
that I think a lot of people probably loved.
They started out with not a lot of dialogue, which is always nice.
Yeah, the first line of dialogue is like they just jump into the Chosen One stuff, and I was surprised by that.
Yeah.
But compared to the other 2 prequel trailers, this one is incredibly secretive.
Yeah.
And that's only because the other 2 are so bad about it. But this one is like, there's something special. Anakin's in it, and he'll be a child, and that they're trusting him to do something. But having him meet Obi-Wan, that's a great little moment. Yoda's lines, I love. And then I vividly remember seeing a double-bladed lightsaber for the first time.
Yes.
Yeah, getting to see Darth Maul.
Yeah. And I part of me wonders if that should have been in the trailer. It almost feels like a big spoiler. I mean, I see why they put it there, but that moment in the film is so whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing that it's coming, I think kind of takes away from how awesome that moment of the Darth Maul reveal is.
I totally agree that it would have been fantastic to not know that double-bladed lightsabers were a thing until right then. I mean, technically they were in the comics, and Exar Kun had one, I know. But to see one on the big screen for the first time,
the common man wouldn't have known. Yeah.
Right. And just be like, why is his hilt so long? And then it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess that would be a hard secret to keep, especially with toys and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's like, you got to put your Darth Maul toy out, and it's got to have a double-bladed lightsaber.
Oh, yeah, and we get a scene from the pod racing stuff, which is exciting. Yeah, that sold a lot of toys.
Yeah, right.
I remember buying a lot of toys before that movie came out. Like, I already had a collection of 100-something original trilogy figures, then I scooped up Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and Darth Maul.
I noticed that they leaned pretty heavily on Liam Neeson and Samuel L. Jackson in the episode 1 trailer because they were already pretty big actors.
Yeah, probably the two most recognizable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Them and Yoda. Yoda's probably the most famous of all three.
Yeah.
Yep. Puppet Yoda.
I missed Puppet Yoda.
Yeah. I'm with you. I like that combination we got. The puppet look in The Last Jedi, but still CGI.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, coming into Attack of the Clones next, this is when it goes just full on. Like, here's the movie.
Yeah, it leaves nothing to be desired.
So much giveaway. I mean, what questions do you really have after watching this trailer?
Yeah, like, it's tough because obviously we know where the story's headed. We know this is about Anakin falling, but then they're also just giving you, here come the clones, and they're clones of this guy, and Jango Fett's in this movie. He's not Boba Fett, he's Jango Fett, but still.
I did have one question seeing this trailer for the first time. Why does Obi-Wan have such long hair? Why does he look like Jesus? Why did
For
they
the
go that
memes,
route?
Molly, so that people can hang up pictures of him in their parents' rooms and have them think that it's Jesus.
That's true.
He does look just fantastic all the time. His hair never looks bad.
Yeah.
Never looks
True.
sweaty.
Anakin's lines are all kind of like, oh, I'm a cool teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
He's
this
treating
trailer's pretty
Obi-Wan like
weak.
an old man.
It's a pretty weak trailer to me. And in fairness, I don't know where you guys stand on this, but Attack of the Clones is maybe my least favorite Star Wars movie of all time. I love all Star Wars movies. But if I'm going to rank them, it's going to be pretty low on the list. And so that might be part of it, too. That it just, to me, the trailer just doesn't click, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I did like the Return of the Jedi music opening it up, but
Yes.
I guess I noticed that it was leaning into nostalgia a little more than even the Phantom Menace did, I think. Like, the Phantom Menace was all new stuff, new designs. We were on Tatooine, I guess, but Attack of the Clones gave us a little more, like, clone troopers are almost stormtroopers. Palpatine has a bigger role, and like they straight up show you how he gets more power.
I know
in the trailer,
there's a major plot points that they give away. And episode 3 is the exact same way.
Oh, yeah. It gets even worse than 3. They're just throwing scenes at you. And
They freaking show Anakin fighting Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
At the end. What the heck?
They show a scene of Yoda, which is the very last line of the movie.
In Attack of the Clones,
Oh,
begun the Clone Wars have.
yes.
But
Sorry.
they show the end of the movie in Revenge of the Sith as well.
Yeah, they show that Darth Vader is going to make an appearance. Like, he's in the trailer.
That should have been like Rogue One, right? Where we think, okay, we could totally see Darth Vader in here. We don't know if we're going to. And then you see him in the movie. It's just, oh, there he is. It should have been the same way, right? We don't know if we're going to see him. We know that Anakin's got to turn to the dark side. Okay, we know this. But seeing the suit in the trailer, I mean, and you get it right at the end of the movie. So you're at the end of the movie and you know, all right, where's the suit, right?
Yep.
It could have been this thing somehow where maybe they left a little mystery. Like, you don't see Anakin put into the suit. Like, maybe Obi-Wan leaves him for dead, and they could have left it to this point where you don't know Darth Vader is Anakin. I mean, Palpatine names him, but they could have made the movie in such a way that surprise twist in Empire was retained.
They even show the council arresting Palpatine. I mean, just
And
so
all the
much.
Jedi being slaughtered.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I hate this trailer. Out of all of the trailers we watched, I think episode 3 is the one I hate the most, just because why watch the movie after seeing this in a lot of ways.
It's definitely the most modern, just talking about how these things evolve. Like there's a lot of fast cuts and exciting music.
Yeah.
I think this is probably the first Star Wars trailer that came out online as like a big thing. Because I remember the Two Towers, that was in 2002, same year as Attack of the Clones, but the Two Towers is the first time I remember going, oh, this trailer's coming out online. Like, we can watch the trailer for the Two Towers today, and it took forever to download and stuff, but I just remember that being a thing.
Those are the days. So I do remember doing this with Episode 2. Episode 2 is the first trailer I remember just completely analyzing and digesting, right down to the music choice. I'm pretty sure Episode 2 is that way too.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense. It's all around the same time. Episode 2 is the one that I remember I was like reading into leaks and stuff, and people were talking about Aura Singh was going to play a big role in it, and all kinds of things that didn't come to pass. And then from that point forward, I was like, this is pointless. I'm not going to read leaks anymore.
Yeah.
So
what do you guys think about the original trilogy? Or, the prequels? Favorites?
I think The Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
100% agree.
All right. We're 2 for 2 so far.
Yeah.
I mean,
no need to debate.
I do kind of understand why they show more and more of the actual movie as the trailers go on, because the technology George Lucas was using was only getting better and better. And by, episode 3, he's probably just like itching to show off what he's created.
Sure. And it's the nature of being a prequel. We know ultimately that Anakin is Vader. So we can show more of the plot, but it's still weird to see. Like, we don't know how the Jedi fall. You didn't have to show the clones all turning on them. You didn't have to show Palpatine announcing them an enemy of the Republic.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? So let's jump 10 years into the future and talk about The Force Awakens.
Oh my gosh. I love this trailer so much. This trailer brought literal tears to my eyes the first time I saw it. When you get slapped in the face with Han and Leia's theme, with the Falcon flying, I remember sitting down, and my whole family was with me, and they don't get Star Wars quite like I do. At least my parents don't. And I'm just like, guys! And everyone's looking at me like I'm crazy, but it was just so satisfying, and it got me so incredibly hyped for this new trilogy. I love this trailer.
Yes, I agree. I wrote down that same musical choice. I like that obviously it's The Force Awakens. They still lean into the nostalgia really hard, but it opens up with your big three, and it's like, here are these new characters. Here's Rey, here's Finn, here's Kylo Ren, and now we're going to show you a bunch of familiar faces and stuff that we know you're excited to see.
Yeah, we get to see Finn as a stormtrooper take his helmet off, and I remember thinking, whoa.
And just having the confirmation that he is a stormtrooper, like, people were speculating about that for a while, but they're like, nope, he's a stormtrooper, and he becomes a hero, and like, that already is something that we hadn't seen before. But again, they're just really under the assumption that like everyone watching this trailer has seen Star Wars before, and you don't need to know anything else about it. Like, here's 3 new characters, but like, look, here's an X-Wing, and here's some stormtroopers and a TIE fighter, and like, we know you're excited.
Yeah, and we have a lot of characters doing voiceovers. We hear Maz, we hear Finn, we hear...
True.
Harrison's back.
Yeah, Harrison's back.
with his 1950s announcer voice.
Not quite. We hear Han talking about...
The Force, it's true, all of it.
Yeah, talking about the light
line.
and the dark. But yeah, we get a lot of voices.
It's interesting. Yeah, this is something I hadn't noticed as we watched these trailers. We went from using just voiceovers and random narrators to now the story of the trailer is being driven by dialogue from the movie. which is pretty cool. It's almost odd now that you hear any voice in a trailer that isn't from the movie itself. Any extra context is given through like those title cards that says like the saga is ending, but the story will live on forever.
Yeah.
I do also love, real quick, one last thing about Han and Leia's theme. And I have to blame you, Alex, for making me think about the music so much, because Alex introduced me to the most amazing podcast that talks about movie soundtracks, and I just binged like everything there. But anyway, I really love the symbolism of Han and Leia's theme, because this trilogy focuses so much on who?
Yeah,
their
Kylo
son.
Ren. Yeah, that makes sense.
And to have that music used for the trailer, I think was very symbolic of what this trilogy is about. And I really appreciated that, especially rewatching the trailer now.
Yeah. You said they're leaning way into the nostalgia, too. I love the scene of Kylo Ren talking to the mask of Vader. And you're like, first of all, how did he get that? Second of all,
right? eBay.
That's weird. He's talking to the mask.
Yeah.
Well, going into the Last Jedi trailer, I think that they really eased off on the nostalgia. And we can keep talking about the music, because I think all the themes in that one are like the Jedi Steps, Rey's theme, Kylo Ren's theme. They're still using Williams' music, but it's all the new characters. And it's focusing on them and not so much what came before.
I wrote down the same thing. I thought it was really interesting. It's that they played both Rey and Kylo's theme, and that movie is, in some ways, a character study of both Rey and Kylo. So that makes sense.
Yeah, and again, they just kind of expect you to have seen The Force Awakens. Like, there's nothing in there helping you along. They're just like, if you're watching this trailer, you've seen The Force Awakens. You know that Leia is Kylo's mother, and that him trying to decide whether or not he's going to kill her is important. You know that Finn and Phasma have a history, stuff like that.
Yeah, there's so many good things about this trailer. Like, you hear Snoke doing a voiceover. You see Kylo Ren smash his mask. I don't know, like a lot of people are like, what? His mask?
I mean, I love that.
That was his thing.
I love that they do give you a lot of story in this trailer, but in a way that you don't realize it. Or like you don't trust it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think it's very telling of the line that Luke has in the trailer and in the movie of, this isn't going to go how you think it is. And that's like what the whole movie is like. It's a completely different kind of Star Wars movie.
Oh, I thought you'd have a lot to say about that, Andy.
I do. I've got a lot to say about The Last Jedi in general, and so I try to remove my very many endless. Anybody who follows me already, especially anybody who follows me on Twitter, knows I just ramble endlessly about The Last Jedi because I love it, in spite of what the internet sometimes wants me to feel about it. But so I'm trying to look at just the trailer itself, and I love the opening shot in particular about just Kylo Ren standing there. I think is a very, very stunning shot, and then the journey that you go through and the way the trailer ends with a very dark sounding Force theme. I think it's a great trailer. It's not my favorite of the sequel trailers, though.
Okay, well, let's talk about Rise of Skywalker, and then we can choose our favorite. The most fresh one that just came out
super fresh
a week ago.
Super fresh.
Which, when we were talking about it last week, we just mentioned that there is no story in this that we can discern. Like, I mean,
none at all.
I felt like even after The Last Jedi, I was able to try to piece together a plot. I was wrong about almost everything, but I still felt like I could find a thread. And
you could speculate.
Yeah, and this one, I mean, I'm still speculating, but I'm like, I have zero confidence.
Yeah, when we rewatched this one, I was trying to think of it as if I hadn't seen any teasers or heard anything about this movie yet, and like just all the Palpatine stuff and like seeing Rey and Kylo fight on the Death Star, and it's just like they're kind of going back to the nostalgia, but the scene where Rey and Kylo are both destroying the Vader helmet shrine is like they're kind of like breaking the mold a little bit of just like, this movie is going to be the end of the Skywalker saga. We're breaking the mold with this one. This is it. This is the big one.
No Star Wars movie will be the same after this.
Yeah. I love the contrast in like episode 3, the lava fight to the water fight between Rey and Kylo. Mm-hmm. I think that the visuals there, just the and when he comes out of the water, the mist or whatever, Kylo Ren is just so, it just looks amazing. It just is so easy on the eyes, and I am all kinds of hype for what that is, even though I have part of me wonders, like, where is this going to be in the movie? I kind of assume that's towards the end of the movie, but part of me also feels like this could be like the Endgame trailer, where pretty much everything we saw was the first 10 minutes of the film, and then it's wide open after that with a few bits from other places.
I love that nothing in this trailer like can be placed exactly on where you think.
Right. So my guess is that all the Death Star stuff will be early, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And again, like, I like that they just, at this point, they can do things like put Palpatine's cackle in a trailer and everyone loses their minds because everyone knows who Palpatine is, and they don't have to explain who this guy is. It's just like, you all know.
Yeah. And like with each teaser leading up to the final trailer, we saw a lot of different things. We saw Dark Rey, which she didn't make the cut for the final trailer.
Ghost?
What else?
Yeah. That fleet shot. I mean,
that fleet shot's amazing. There's a lot, like, you freeze frame that and there's how much that you can pick out of it.
And again, they're even assuming that you've watched stuff outside of the films.
Yeah.
And people are still losing their minds.
Yeah, the Knights of Ren aren't in it at all, which I appreciate because I want all that stuff to be a surprise.
Right.
But it's just so
There's
different
so
from the
much
prequels.
mystery around the Knights of Ren.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to get that comic soon, and maybe there won't be.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting a whole lot from them. I'm trying to temper my expectations.
Yeah.
But okay.
I hope the movie leans heavily on it, because that's been a piece of the lore that we've been missing, and I feel like starving for. I want to know so much more about the Knights of Ren and how they contributed to Kylo Ren. I always assumed that they were pupils of Luke, but it looks like maybe they're not.
Yep.
And so there's just so many questions, like more questions upon questions, and I just, because they're doing the comic, it makes me think, and we've seen, a little splash of them in other footage. I think we're going to learn quite a bit about them in this film, but I should temper my expectations too,
I hope
probably.
you're right.
I don't know. Reading about them, it says something about like their masks being a permanent fixture. I doubt we're going to see their faces, but yeah, hopefully we see some...
As long as we know what they're about.
Yeah, hopefully we see some backstory.
Yes.
I'm just trying to assume less, and then I can be surprised by more.
Yeah.
But all right, so what was everyone's favorite sequel trilogy trailer?
Episode 7.
I think that's mine as well. Just the return of everything. That's the one that I was definitely the most excited to watch, and I think that's part of, we hadn't seen a Star Wars movie in 10 years, and now we get one every year. We won't after episode 9, but it's just almost become expected. So the ones for The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, I wasn't as pumped up to see, but episode 7 really delivered.
I think mine is going to go to The Last Jedi just because it showed so many things that made you wonder like what the big twist was going to be. and again with Luke's line of "this isn't gonna go the way you think it is," like that just sells it for me. That, and then you kind of get a glimpse at Rey's anger. Like she's starting to get frustrated. She doesn't know what to do with her force powers. Like she is asking Luke for help and he doesn't want to give it. So it's pretty suspenseful.
I do love in that one when she says, I need someone to show me my place in all this, and then Kylo holds his hand out, and you're like, clearly those are two different scenes, and they're just messing with us. But then, like, that literally happens in the movie. And
yeah.
Like, misdirection, but in such a weird meta way.
Also, we get a scene where it looks like Kylo Ren is going to kill Leia.
Yeah.
Totally.
I mean, he's at least thinking about it.
Yeah. And I just remember seeing that and be like, oh, no.
I mean, I love that they tease just like, what's Kylo gonna do this time? Because I think The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens, the big emotional climax of the movie is, what's Kylo gonna do? Is he gonna kill Han or not? Is he gonna kill Snoke or Rey? But obviously they can't give that away in the trailers, so they build it up to this, is he gonna kill Leia or not?
Yeah.
But
I'm so glad they didn't put any of the throne room stuff in the trailer.
Yeah.
That being a surprise was up there with Vader and Rogue One for me. Just, I could watch that scene over and over.
But unfortunately, you have been overruled.
Okay.
And
I'm used to it.
So now we're going to decide between Return of the Jedi, The Phantom Menace, and The Force Awakens, which had the best trailer.
To me, it's very, very hard to pick against Force Awakens, but I wish I could find a way to, level this based on the era, because trailers were just so different based on the eras.
Right.
I feel like it's not a fair comparison in a lot of ways, but I can't. The Episode 7 trailer had such a powerful impact on me. It's my favorite Star Wars trailer.
I mean, I totally agree. Like, it's just not fair, and like
it's not. Yeah,
we
it's
weren't.
not fair.
We were too young to be excited for Return of the Jedi. Or I mean, we weren't even born yet, so like that we didn't get to experience that on a big screen. I feel like I can't really remember where I was for Phantom Menace. It's like I know what I was doing when the Force Awakens trailer came out. I have vivid memories of that.
Yeah. And I'll say that I agree, and that I wasn't as into Star Wars as you guys were growing up. So for me, the whole sequel trilogy is my favorite, and like it just exploded love into my heart for Star Wars. And so when I saw the Force Awakens trailer, I immediately connected to Rey, and I was just like, yes. Give me that female lead.
I love that. And that also gives me hope, because I have been trying to convert my wife like Alex has so successfully done. And I'm still not quite there. But Molly, I'm going to have to give you my wife's number, and you can work on bringing her over to our side of the Force, all right?
Okay. Just get her on podcasts, and the more she talks about Star Wars and watches videos on it, she'll just convert.
She goes to the movies. She was at The Last Jedi with me. I think she was looking at me like I was crazy when Snoke died, because I had such a big reaction to that moment. But
Well, I would be interested to hear what someone outside of our generation thinks, like someone that got to see the Return of the Jedi trailer in theaters, or remembers more vividly the first time they saw a prequel trailer.
They're seeing all of the original trilogy in the theater, and like, did they see the trailers for
Right. It's just like, I feel like I'm making my decision purely emotionally. Like, I actually do think the Return of the Jedi trailer is pretty impressive for its time. Like, when you were pointing out the stuff about them leaning into the mystery and stuff, like that stuff you see more today and not so much back then.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool. It was maybe ahead of its time. I'm not super familiar with other 80s trailers, so hard to say, but
Plus, trailers back then, you would see them probably once or twice, right? Because you weren't going online to watch the trailer. You'd see it in a movie theater. You'd see it once, and then you'd be, remembering back and then talking later. I don't think it would have been very easy to access a trailer other than in the theater. Maybe I'm wrong, but I can't think of how else you would have gone about that.
I'd be really interested to try to dig up people's reactions to the older trailers, like in magazines or fanzines, because I remember the very first Star Wars leak was in a magazine it was right before A New Hope, and it was that people were saying that Obi-Wan was going to be the villain, and that's because part of the script that said that leaked, and that was kind of an on purpose thing to like
throw people off.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I don't know if that kind of stuff kept happening. I don't know where to even find that stuff.
It probably did. I feel like the fandom has always been like this. It's just in different media.
The Star Wars fandom. It's so great.
Well, I'm glad that we all agree at least. Andy, let all of my subscribers know where they can follow you.
So, yeah, my YouTube channel is called CubsFan Han. I'm sure you'll put a link somewhere. But I'm just like Alex here, a huge Star Wars geek and love covering the fandom. I do a lot of the games, too. I definitely lean heavier on the games, but I'm kind of pushing more in the direction of just general fandom because I can't shut up about Star Wars in my regular life. And so I'm pushing that a lot more into my YouTube channel instead of just the games. So it's fun stuff.
Nice.
Well, yeah. You're a great fan, fun to talk to. I genuinely look forward to listening to your reactions and stuff when new trailers drop. So everyone else should check him out too. But you're very welcome. That'll be it from us. So if you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to our channel.
And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
And as always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.